on the call. Nate, would
Yes.
you please introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, everyone. This is Nate Campolongo with Ginnie Mae. I'm in the monitoring and asset management division, and I am tasked with operating the buyout requests and reviewing and approving those. And hand in hand with that is the substitution. So I'm actually the one that will receive your request and approve it or request more information. So happy to be here and to answer any questions that we have.
Thank you, Nate. Okay, this is the agenda for the webinar. A few items in this webinar are also presented during the single family reporting training. If you have not attended any of the single family training or even multifamily training, the presentations and recorded versions are on Ginnie Mae's website under training, tools, and resources. Okay. The webinar is a general overview of the loan substitution process for the single family program, which also includes manufactured homes. Loan substitutions are not allowed for multifamily loans, HECM loans. So if we have anybody that only has multifamily and HECM, this doesn't pertain to you. And if you would like to drop off the call, it's up to you. If you want to stay and listen, we would be glad to have you. Okay. So this webinar is a general overview of loan substitution, which also includes, again, single family and manufactured homes. We want you to have a good understanding of the process and meet Ginnie Mae guidelines for loan substitutions. Okay. Our objectives for the webinar are for you to understand and effectively follow loan substitution requirements and complete all the required documentation. I got off. I'm sorry, Christy. Utilize Ginnie Mae resources and correctly report the new loan data in RFS within the required guidelines. Okay. Slide 6. A loan may not be removed from the pool by an issuer or a subservicer without written permission from Ginnie Mae for any reason not specifically stated in the applicable guarantee agreement or the MBS guide. Ginnie Mae's Office of Issuer and Portfolio Management, that's the office Nate works for or with, grants approval for defective loan removals. All eligibility requirements must be met on the substitute loan as if it had originally been securitized in the pool. The current remaining principal balance of the substitute loan may not be greater than the principal balance of the loan that's being removed. You can never add a loan back into the pool that increases the RPB of the pool. Ginnie Mae Issuer Support processes the substitutions between the 25th calendar day and the end of the month. The principal remittance is determined by the net dollar amount between the unpaid principal balance of the defective loan that's being removed and the current UPB of the loan being substituted. Okay. So let's look at some reference documentation. Go ahead. Here's 4 different reference documents that will give you some links below to assist you in helping you to understand the process. Of course, we have the website, and from the website, you may access the Ginnie Mae Guide, which includes chapters, appendices, forms, and APMs. Chapter 14 includes a defective loan section, which also includes substitute loan. Within that section, we will also discuss, or it'll talk about Appendix 6-02, which is the form letter for a loan repurchase. and also includes Exhibit A, which is the detailed for the defective loan information. In the MBS guide, there will be a reference to Appendix 6-02 and then 6-2. So they don't use the same reference every time, but it is the same material. So let's review the timeline. Christy? Okay, go ahead. Okay, so per Chapter 14, Pool and Loan Administration, Part D, a defective loan, if single family or manufacturer housing is found to be defective with 120 calendar days after the pool issue date, the issuer must cure the defect or substitute a loan within the 120-day period. Again, I'm reiterating multifamily project loans, construction loans, and HECM reverse mortgage loans must be bought out of the pools as they are ineligible for loan substitution. Okay. Next. Okay, so Chapter 14, Part 8, Section D, defect loans. Let's look at that. So Chapter 14 provides servicing standards for servicing Ginnie Mae pools and loans. Again, a loan may not be removed from a pool by an issuer. Hold on, sorry. I can't make my phone stop ringing. A loan may not be removed from a pool by an issuer or subservicer without written permission from Ginnie Mae for any reason not specifically stated, again, in the applicable guarantee agreement or MBS guide. Within the first 120 calendar days of the pool issue date, the issuer must prioritize efforts to cure the agency loan defects that may arise from missing federal mortgage insurance or guarantee. Ginnie Mae will no longer refrain from enforcing the loan substitution requirements for a loan that is defective solely because it does not meet the terms of the security or has not been insured. At Ginnie Mae's discretion, Ginnie Mae may act to enforce the loan substitution requirement if it determines that the issuer is not prioritizing efforts to cure the defects and or other good causes. Immediately upon receiving notice or being deemed to have the notice from Ginnie Mae, it will no longer refrain from enforcing, again, the loan substitution requirement. And a lot of this, again, this information is in the guarantee agreement. Okay, next slide. Oops, sorry. Substitution requirements. There are really three requirements to begin with the substitute loan. Again, the loan must satisfy all the initial pool eligibility requirements as if it is placed in the pool at the time of securitization. The maturity date on the substitute loan may not be later than the pool maturity date. The remaining principal balance of the substitute loan may not be greater than the remaining principal balance of the loan to be replaced. In writing, the issuer must notify Ginnie Mae's Office of Issuer and Portfolio Management of any loan found to be defective. Also, the issuer must receive written approval from Ginnie Mae prior to any substitution or buyout of a defective loan from the pool. The request to buy out the loan must be submitted in accordance to the Appendix 6-02. Now I'm going to turn it over to Christy. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. So now we will move on to the required documentation to request a loan substitution. Per Appendix 6-2, the issuer will complete a letter for loan repurchase on company letterhead. Second, complete the Exhibit A. Third, complete the substitution spreadsheet by providing all of the requested data. And fourth, email the documentation to the Ginnie Mae buyout at HUD.gov, which is where Nate would actually pick up that information. So now let's look at all of the pieces of the documentation required. Here's a sample of the form letter for the loan repurchase from Appendix 6-2. This needs to be completed on company letterhead. Appendix 6-2 contains the two pieces of information, which is the letter and Exhibit A. Here is the second piece of the documentation for Appendix 6-2. So Exhibit A needs to be completed and provide all requested information. Then the next thing is to complete the substitution spreadsheet by providing all of the requested data. Please notice that there is an old loan column for the defective loan being removed and a new loan column for the loan to be created. A few notes for the new loan column. Do not leave any blanks with the exception of the last row, which is where we will provide back to you the new unique loan ID. So please make sure that you include the 3 digits for the loan type, which would be FHA, VAG or VAV, RHS or PIH. And then for the case number, please use all 15 digits for the case number per APM 02-17. And especially for the FHA loans, be sure to include the last 3 digits of the ADP code. If the new loan is a modified loan, ensure that the modified note information is entered on the spreadsheet. And then one of the major items is please make sure that the new loan is not already securitized into a different pool. Now on to review and create the new loan process. The buyout team emails a substitution information to the Ginnie Mae Issuer Support on or before the last business day of the month. Ginnie Mae Issuer Support reviews the old loan to ensure that it is still active. If the loan is not active, the review process stops and the buyout group is notified. If the old loan is active, we continue the process below. The new loan is reviewed to ensure it meets the pool requirements. If it does not, the review process continues. If it does, the review process continues. If it does not meet the requirements, we send back the information to the buyout group with a list of problems. If all requirements are met, the new loan is created on or about the 25th calendar day until the last business day of the current month. The 25th calendar day is when we close RFS for the prior month's reporting and open for the current month's reporting. An example is like in September. September 25th was a Sunday, so on Monday, September 26th, we close RFS for August reporting and open RFS for September reporting. Once the new loan is created, the issuer is sent an email with an encrypted spreadsheet with the new unique loan ID, with a note in the body of the email to complete the borrower, sensitive, and various information on the loan record. A password for the encrypted spreadsheet will be sent to the issuer in a separate email. Here's an example of a completed substitution spreadsheet. If the new loan passes the review process and the substitution loan ID is created, Ginnie Mae Issuer Support returns this spreadsheet to the issuer with the new unique loan ID, which is highlighted in yellow. Now let's review how to report the required loan data in RFS. Once the completed substitution information is provided back to the issuer during the first 2 business days of the next calendar month, the issuer is responsible for ensuring the following information is added to the loan screen in RFS. That would be the borrower name, the Social Security number, and then on the various record, the loan purpose, loan to value, credit score, and first-time home buyer. If the loan purpose is a 3 or 4, please also report the pre-mod data. Please remember that the OPB needs to be reported from the original note for modified loans on the loan record. This information may be reported by an RFS file or manually input into RFS. This screenshot shows the loan screen in RFS after Ginnie Mae Issuer Support has created the new unique loan ID. We create the new unique loan ID with minimal information, as all of the 11706 information is not available, like when the loans are originally securitized in GinnieNet or SFPDM. All of the loan information must be reported to Ginnie Mae by the deadline of 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the second business day, including the borrower activity during the reporting period. On this screenshot, highlighted in yellow, are the following fields that must be reported by 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the second business day. That's the borrower name, the Social Security number, the last installment date, the loan T&I balance, the net adjust UPB, being the UPB of the new loan column on the spreadsheet that was sent to the issuer from Ginnie Mae Issuer Support with the new unique loan ID, and the actual closing UPB. The fields highlighted in green are installments and or curtailments that were paid by the borrower during the current report period. Once all of the information is entered, please remember to click Save. Now, a quick look at the various record. The loan purpose, credit score, loan to value, and first-time home buyer must be reported. Once this information is reported the very first month, it becomes static for future months. Please remember to press the Save button once all of the information is entered. Now on to the pool record. Fields that need to be reported are highlighted in yellow. The adjustment to FIC, which is the FIC of the substituted loan. Ensure the correct P&I balance is reported since adjustments have been made to this pool. Report a negative RPB adjustment for the UPB of the new loan. Also include any other RPB adjustments as needed. Update the closing security RPB. On the left side of the screen, the liquidations in full FIC is from the defective loan. The defective loan was removed from the pool by using a removal reason code 5, which is substitution. A high pool 055 exception generates whenever a value is reported in the adjustment to FIC. This exception will remain for the month. Also, be sure to click the Save and Summarize button at the bottom of the screen. So now I would like to ask Nate if he has anything to add before we move on to the questions section.
No, nothing to add at this time. That was great.
Okay, thank you, Nate. So what questions do you have on the loan substitution process? You know, we do ask any participants or Ginnie Mae account executives if anyone has any questions or comments. And Colin, do we have any questions in the chat or Q&A?
No responses yet. It seems like it was a great job so far.
Okay. And then Colin, would you like to explain how to use the if someone would like to verbally ask a question.
Right, if you just raise your hand, I can unmute you and you can verbally ask questions as well through the annotation. But it looks like we've got our first question in the question and answer tab from Katie. Is there any info we need to import into JennyNet for the substitute loan?
No. So when the loan that is being removed from the pool, that loan was entered into JennyNet. So that is why you are filling out the substitution spreadsheet and providing that information to us. And that is how we create the loan with the minimal information. Okay, do we have any other questions or comments?
Looks like Katie has one more.
Okay.
Christy,
Okay,
can you? Oh, okay.
yes, I.
Okay.
So it looks like Katie is asking, I recently got an approval for a sub that said exclusions, loan currently insured by FHA, VA, or USDA are on hold pending conditions to be insured, are not eligible for loan substitution under this communication and require further review by Jenny May. Can you please expand on this? Nate, would you be able to expand on that?
Yeah, so the essentially the definition of defective loan is almost 99% when the loan cannot be insured. So that's typically why the loan would be approved for substitution. There are, as I mentioned, there's probably 1% of a scenario where the loan actually is insured, but for one reason or another, it does not meet the terms of the security. And in those situations, we typically, we don't see those being substituted. We just see those being bought out. But generally speaking, if it's in the first 120 days of the pool issuance, it should be the case that they're just not insured or cannot be insured. So, Katie, I'd ask if that is the case and the pool is, I'm sorry, if the loan is insured, just please reach out to us again and confirm that the approval is appropriate.
Thank you, Nate. And then Katie said, got it, thanks. I believe it is the rare 1%.
There we go.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. Well, and so if no one else has any questions, we can go ahead and end the webinar. Here on the screen, we do provide Nancy, Yolanda, and my direct emails. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email us directly, or you can always email the buyout group. I'm sure Nate would be happy to answer your questions also. So if we don't have any more questions, I'll turn it over to Yolanda.
Awesome. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, awesome. Thank you everyone for attending today. And as always, our hope is that this training was beneficial to you, and that you learned something you didn't know before. Perhaps it served as a refresher of some sort. Again, our training session today was recorded, and in the coming weeks, you'll be able to find both the recordings and the presentation on the links that I posted earlier. I want to briefly highlight our new training recordings page on jenny.gov. Just as a reminder, all of our previously held training sessions are normally posted on our recording site, and the same, and it remains the same on the new recording site. However, only the most recent sessions for our, if this was a new issuer training session, only those 6 sessions will be recorded, and at the very bottom of the list, then there'll be a link for any archive sessions that we previously held. However, under webinars, you should see all of the webinars listed there. So when you get a moment, please take a look at jennymay.gov, and you'll click on issuers, and then there should be 4 I think, bullets, and you're going to choose training recordings, and please just go out and take a look at our new training recording page. Before we let you go, please take a few minutes to complete our polling survey that Colin is about to post. Again, keep in mind, these surveys are just another opportunity for you all to submit feedback to us and to help us make this a more enriching and learning experience for you. And beyond doing the survey, if you would like to submit any questions and or comments, you can always send those to askjennymay@hud.gov. Again, that's askjennymay@hud.gov. And thank you all for joining us today, and enjoy the rest of your day. But before you do, please complete the survey for us. Okay, Colin, you can go ahead and post.
Yeah, the survey, once you leave the webinar, you'll be prompted with just a few questions about today's webinar service. Only takes a few minutes, and we'd greatly appreciate the feedback.
Have a good day, everybody.